Good morning. My name is Ed Garza. I'm the Director of Veteran Services here at Concordia University, Wisconsin, and also a U.S. Navy veteran and Iraq War veteran. I'd like to take a few minutes before we get started on our presentation of the power of communication and teamwork to recognize a few people and groups of people in our military branches. Yesterday was the birthday of the United States Marine Corps, so a belated but not forgotten happy birthday to our beloved Marine Corps. And a special thank you to all of our active duty, reserve guard, and service members and veterans who are currently serving around the world. But on behalf of Concordia University, our faculty and staff, our students, and myself, God bless you for your sacrifice and service to our great nation, and we are not forgetting about you on this wonderful day. As we move on to our topic of discussion of communication and teamwork, I want to just step back a few minutes and recognize some of our previous lectures from some of my amazing colleagues who have talked about passion, vision, and mission. All of these attributes are very important to what leaders possess and how they go about and carry out the business of the day and what they're trying to accomplish, whether it be not only in the workplace but out in the community, whether it be a booster club parent or a member of a nonprofit organization or a profit organization, their church, anything in the community that involves work and working with other people to accomplish a specific goal. It all involves leadership, communication, and teamwork to get that done. So as we move forward, we talk about the tips and things of how communication should be done and what are some of the best tips. And I'll share a little bit with you about my experience in the military and working in education, but just working in the community in general, and how those tips can come into play and help you hopefully be a little bit more successful as you are developing yourself as a leader in the community. First thing, you got to remember to be personable. People want to be talked to, not lectured or monologued with. Be personable, have a conversation, learn about them as they are learning about you. There's an old saying about leadership is that people don't necessarily care much about how much you know until they hear about how passionate you are about something that is important to you. And when you're doing that, you are actually developing and building a relationship with somebody who may have the same interest as you, and at the same time, you're creating some teamwork with those people that you're carrying conversations with. I'll share with you just a quick story from my military experience. I was commissioned as an officer in March of 2005, and a few months later, that was the same year that Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans. I was a reservist back then. I was drilling out of New Orleans, but I remember the first day that I checked in. I was a brand new officer, prior enlisted. However, the enlisted sailors would always look at me as the newbie. I'm the new guy, new officer coming on board. What's he about? What's he gonna do for us? How is he gonna lead us? But it was not until Hurricane Katrina hit that area that these members of my unit and some on the base understood what I was about. I was in New Orleans a week after Hurricane Katrina cleared through. I was driving right into New Orleans, was sent on a humanitarian mission to find out where all of my sailors were and try to help them recover, find a shelter, find work, kind of get back to work, because we knew the process was going to be long to recover from that disastrous day. And through time, we were able to get everybody accounted for. And during that mission that I was there, I even helped rescue one of my sailors from the rooftop during the aftermath of the storm. He was picked up by a helicopter on his roof. And we came together as a team and looked for everybody, and we made sure that everybody was safe and their families were safe, and then we tried to put them back to work so they could be able to sustain themselves. So having that relationship that I built with them in the first 4 or 5 months that I was there, little did I know that we had already developed that trust in order for them to trust me when I was out there trying to serve them. Be specific when you are communicating to people. Don't let them guess about what you're trying to talk about. Most of the time, if you are not simple and concise, you're going to leave them walking away confused and they don't understand. Don't assume that they know, like I said before, but be mindful of people's time. Because if you talk forever, they've probably already checked out after the first few minutes of what it is you're trying to convey to them. And if they're not listening to you, they're probably not paying attention and they're not going to get it. So Be specific, be simple and concise, get to the point, and value people's time. As a leader, you need to keep an open mind. Be open to suggestions and comments, even if they don't go along with yours. You are in the process of communicating and trying to build a team that is going to help you accomplish the goal that you have set forth, whether it be in your work, school, church, community, whatever it is you're doing. Keep an open mind. Don't take it personal. They're just open enough to share with you what they're concerned about. You have to listen to that and take that, with the good, bad, and the ugly, so to speak. And during that time, it's important that you're quiet and you listen. Just as much as some leaders would like to talk, you need to be quiet and listen to what people are trying to explain to you. This is no longer about you. It is about your team. Because if they are doing the work, they're simply the people, boots on the ground, doing the work. They're going to know more of what's happening in that world than probably you are from a 10,000-foot level. Listen to what they have to say. They're sharing things with you because they trust you and they're looking for that guidance. But also, if you're asking questions during that time, ask questions for understanding, not to ridicule why someone is doing what they're doing. You're trying to get a better understanding of maybe why somebody did what they did, just so you can help be a part of the solution, not create more problems to why somebody may have done something that they did. Remember to always replace your ego with humbleness. There are times when the ego supersedes the mission of what your team is trying to do. And now when that happens, there's going to be some problems. It may not surface itself right away, but be humble. Think about a time when you've had some really good leaders and you've had some bad leaders. You should be learning from both of those experiences. And what are you going to put in your bag of tricks as a leader to help other people and learn from what did not work previously? The fastest way to destroy an organization or a team is for the leader to have an ego that replaces the mission or the purpose of what you're trying to do. I've seen that often. Unfortunately, the tall tale sign of that is when your most vocal and energetic people become quiet in your organization. As a leader, you should be worried. You should be very worried because now they're not sharing what they're thinking or what's on their mind or resolutions to solving problems. They're just sitting there and agreeing or taking it, and ultimately they're going to make a decision to change. And most of the time when people leave organizations, it's not because they don't care about the mission. It's not because they don't love the work. When people leave organizations, they quit their boss. They quit that leader because that leader is not giving them what they need to continue to do the work that they once cared about. So a leader should always be concerned when people are not talking, and that's because the leader is probably talking too much. Take some time to listen, be mindful, have your ego in check. And when I think about that, it reminds me of Proverbs 11:2, which says, when pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humble is wisdom. Be humble. Always have that humble pie because you can quickly get put in check by someone or something that you did not expect. So when we talk about teamwork, leaders are always able to do the following. Don't be afraid to delegate. Leaders cannot do all this work by themselves. They have to delegate the people on their team to do specific work. But when you do that, make sure you delegate tasks to people where they're strong at, so that you maximize what your team is capable of doing. And then you want to monitor efficiency. Come up with processes that can quickly and easily be measured to know that you're on track to accomplish any particular task. Don't be afraid to have brainstorming ideas. Share those ideas with your team. When your team can communicate anything that's on their mind and they work together, things will go very, very smoothly. And then be supportive. Overcome all the challenges. Sometimes there's changes within the team. How do the people on the team support one another through those challenges? Maybe a team member leaves and goes somewhere else, or maybe there's an incident that affects the team personally. You got to support one another in order to overcome those challenges that you're going to face. But remember, leaders are there to serve their team. Leaders are servant leaders. They are there to be that steward of leadership and service, because if you don't do that, who's going to do that for your team? You got to remember that you're not going to go any further without the team. And at the end of the time, when things go well, your teammates win. The praise goes to your team. If things don't go well, the leader takes responsibility for what's happened, and you come back and you develop another plan and you get back to work with the members of your team in order to solve whatever problem or crisis or situation that you may be in. Remember to also take time to recognize the people on your team. It goes a long, long way. A simple thank you, or things I used to do every Monday. I'd take a time to write 5 thank you notes and deliver them to random people on a Monday. And they would always alternate every Monday who I was thanking. It could be anything that I would see throughout the day. It could be a neighbor. It could be, a young man or young lady who I saw doing something right, and I know I'm going to see him again. Take time, write a note, give it to him, and say, hey, thank you for what you did. I saw what you were doing. Even when nobody was looking, you were doing the right thing. Those words go a long, long way. And those thank yous and special treats and public recognitions cost very, very little to make someone's day and keep them motivated. It's a great responsibility to be a leader. A lot of things are on your shoulders. A lot of people are looking at you, and there's lots of things to accomplish. But first and foremost, lead by example. Be the model that others want to be like. If you are out there setting the example and you're doing the right thing in the community, other people want to emulate that and go, I want to be just like that person. Also recognize leadership comes in all shapes and sizes. And most importantly, nowadays, all ages. We want to encourage young people to be leaders. Encourage them to follow their passion, their vision, and work hard to accomplish that mission. As my previous colleagues have explained in their presentations, it's all great attributes of leaders. It's how do you go about accomplishing that. These are just a few things that are important when I look at leadership and how to communicate with people and building a team. Without that, I don't think you're able to move forward and accomplish as much as you probably can. But keep those simple things in mind. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today, and most importantly, happy Veterans Day.